Hello everyone and welcome to Bitfrisk channel. In this session, we are going to talk about Bitcoin, what it is and how it works. But before getting into it, we need to understand what money is. So let's go ahead step by step and get to know Bitcoin in depth. But before getting into the topic, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell for more interesting topics in the soon future. What is money? Money is any item or medium of exchange that is accepted by people for the payment of goods and services, as well as the repayment of loans. Money makes the world go round. Economies rely on money to facilitate transactions and to power financial growth. But what is a medium of exchange in reality? Before the development of a medium of exchange, that is, money, people would barter to obtain the goods and services they needed. Two individuals, each possessing some goods the other wanted, would enter into an agreement to trade. Early forms of bartering, however, do not provide the transferability and divisibility that makes trading efficient. For instance, if someone has cows but needs bananas, they must find someone who not only has bananas but also the desire for meat. What if that individual finds someone who has the need for meat but no bananas and can only offer potatoes? To get meat, that person must find someone who has bananas and wants potatoes, and so on. The lack of transferability of bartering for goods is tiring, confusing, and inefficient. But that is not where the problems end. Even if the person finds someone with whom to trade meat for bananas, they may not consider a bunch of bananas to be worth a whole cow. Such a trade requires coming to an agreement and devising a way to determine how many bananas are worth certain parts of the cow. Commodity money solves these problems. Commodity money is a type of good and functions as currency. In the 17th and 18th centuries, for example, American colonists used beaver pelts and dried corn in transactions. Possessing generally accepted values, these commodities were used to buy and sell other things. The commodities used for trade had certain characteristics. They were widely desired and, therefore, valuable. But they were also durable, portable, and easily stored. Another more advanced example of commodity money is a precious metal such as gold. For centuries, gold was used to back paper currency up until the 1970s. In the case of the US dollar, for example, this meant that foreign governments were able to take their dollars and exchange them at a specified rate for gold with the US Federal Reserve. What's interesting is that, unlike the beaver pelts and dried corn, which can be used for clothing and food respectively, gold is precious purely because people want it. It is not necessarily useful. You can't eat gold, and it won't keep you warm at night, but the majority of people think it is beautiful, and they know others think it is beautiful. So, gold is something that has worth. Gold, therefore, serves as a physical token of wealth based on people's perceptions. This relationship between money and gold provides insight into how money gains its value as a representation of something valuable. So, if we want to describe money briefly, money represents value. If I do some work for you, you give me money in exchange for the value I gave you. I can then use that money to get something of value from someone else in the future. Throughout history, value has taken many forms and people used a lot of different materials to represent money. Salt, wheat, shells, and of course gold have all been used as a medium of exchange. However, in order for something to represent value, people have to trust that it is indeed valuable and will stay valuable long enough for them to redeem that value in the future. During history, money has changed many forms. Let's have a brief look of its transition stages. Paper money. Over time, people found it too cumbersome to walk around the world carrying bars of gold or other forms of money, so paper money was invented. Here's how it worked. A bank or government would offer to take possession of your bar of gold, let's say worth $1,000, and in return, the bank would give you receipt certificates, which we call bills, amounting to $1,000. Not only were these pieces of paper much easier to carry, but you could spend $1 on a cup of coffee and not have to cut your gold bar into 1,000 pieces. And if you wanted your gold back, you simply took $1,000 in bills back to the bank to redeem them for the actual form of money. In this case, that gold bar, whenever you need it. And so, paper began its use as money, as an instrument of practicality and convenience. However, as time progressed, and due to macroeconomic changes, this bond between the paper receipt and the gold it stands for was broken. Now, to explain the past that led us away from the gold standard is extremely complex, but suffice to say that governments told their people that the government itself would be liable for the value of that paper money. Basically, we all said, let's just forget about gold and trade paper instead. So people continue to trade with receipts that are backed by nothing but the government's promise. And why did it continue to work? Well, because of trust. Even though there is no actual commodity backing paper money, people trusted the government, and that's how fiat money was created. Fiat money. Fiat is a Latin word that means by decree, meaning the dollars or euros or any other currency for that matter have value because the government orders it to. It's what is known as legal tender, coins or banknotes that must be accepted if offered as payment. So the value of today's money actually comes from a legal status given to it by a central authority, in this case, the government. And so the trust model has changed from trusting something to trusting someone, in this case, the government. Fiat money has two main drawbacks. It is centralized. You have a central authority that controls and issues it, in this case, the government or central bank. Transitioning to digital money. Once fiat money was in place, the move to digital money was pretty simple. We already have a central authority that issues money, so why not make money mostly digital and let that authority keep track of who owns what? Today, we mainly use credit cards, wire transfers, PayPal, and other forms of digital money. The amount of physical money in the world is almost negligible and is getting smaller with each year that passes. So, fiat money and its digital form has a main characteristic. It's centralized and governments have full control on it, and even they know who owns how much money. Governments can block the money in which bank accounts they want to. Now, we know what is money. So, let's jump into Bitcoin. By now, you may understand that Bitcoin is the new form and generation of the money. But what is Bitcoin in depth? Bitcoin is a digital currency which operates free of any central control or the oversight of banks or governments. Instead, it relies on peer-to-peer software and cryptography. Bitcoin was created by Satoshi Nakamoto, a pseudonymous person or team who outlined the technology in a 2008 white paper. It's an appealingly simple concept. Bitcoin is digital money that allows for secure peer-to-peer transactions on the internet. Unlike services like Venmo and PayPal, which rely on traditional financial system for permission to transfer money and on existing debit-credit accounts, Bitcoin is decentralized. Any two people, anywhere in the world, can send Bitcoin to each other without the involvement of the bank, government, or other institutions. Every transaction involving Bitcoin is tracked on the blockchain, which is similar to a bank ledger or log of customers' funds going in and out of the bank. In simple terms, it's a record of every transaction ever made using Bitcoin. Unlike a bank's ledger, The Bitcoin blockchain is distributed across the entire network. No company, country, or third party is in control of it, and anyone can become part of that network. There will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin. This is digital money that cannot be inflated or manipulated in any way. It isn't necessary to buy an entire Bitcoin. You can buy just a fraction of one if that's all you want or need. So if we want to describe Bitcoin briefly, it's a decentralized form of money that no government or bank can control. Well, for the first time since digital money came into existence, we now have an alternative to the current system. I hope you enjoyed today's topic, but if you have any more questions about Bitcoin, feel free to ask in the comment section. We will be glad to help you. And if you found the content useful, please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. If you want to make us more happy, you can hit the like button too.